Y'all, somebody just got dragged from here. Blood from there. She fell right there under the car and got ran over. She got ran over all the way, dragged all the way over there. She's still under the car, yo. Still under this car. That car right there. Let's get the license plate. Somebody please help me get that, because I can't get it. I don't have a fucking Samsung, bitch.
This morning, family and friends are mourning the loss of a woman hit and killed in downtown Dallas over the weekend. Police say 23-year-old Aya Knox was pinned under a car early Saturday morning on Elm Street before dying at the hospital. The driver stayed on the scene, though investigators say they are still working to figure out just what happened. Aya worked at a medical clinic, and her family says she dreamed of becoming a nurse. And last night, they held a balloon release to lift up the memory of a young woman they say Dallas will not forget.
At 4:40 a.m. on a November Saturday, Dallas Police Department officers responded to an emergency call reporting a pedestrian collision on Elm Street in downtown Dallas. Minutes earlier, Aya Knox, a 23-year-old healthcare worker, had been struck and pinned beneath an SUV in the city's commercial district, an incident that initially appeared to be a routine traffic fatality. However, early witness accounts indicated the vehicle traveled nearly an entire block with Knox trapped underneath before coming to a stop. The driver, whose name has not been publicly released, remained at the scene and cooperated with investigators. Despite this, authorities have disclosed limited details about the circumstances leading up to the collision. As the investigation unfolded, family members and friends confirmed the victim's identity, describing Knox as a well-known figure in her community, often referred to as the Queen of Dallas. Surveillance footage and bystander videos soon circulated online, intensifying public scrutiny. What brought Knox and her companions to that intersection before dawn, and why clear answers remain absent, continues to raise unresolved questions.
Y'all turned up for Aya,
To understand the loss of Aya Knox in South Dallas, you only need to know the title her friends and family gave her.
It just shows how loved she was.
Aya, the Queen of Dallas, loved ones call her, had just turned 23 weeks before her last night out with friends in downtown Dallas. Early Saturday morning, she was struck by a car and became pinned underneath, police said. She died at the hospital.
Traumatic. It's surreal, honestly. I don't think any of us have really digested what exactly has happened.
Police said the driver remained at the scene. The collision is still under investigation.
Everything else will come. But right now, we're celebrating Aya, showing our love for Aya, coming together.
No, it's not easy, Lord.
They say there was a lot to admire. Her work at a local medical clinic, her dream of becoming a nurse, and the way she loved her family.
His family meant everything to Aya. So it was really important for us to show this to the world, to show the young lady that she was and how loved she was by all of us.
It's not easy letting go of what happened that night, but they're lifting up her memory with a title they say she earned. In Dallas, I'm Luke Clary.
Stay with us as we unravel this shocking story and uncover the heartbreaking details of what led to this senseless loss. Before we begin, let us know in the comments, where are you watching from? And what are your thoughts as the story unfolds? Welcome to True Crime Tales, where we reveal the crimes that shock communities and the secrets hidden behind closed doors. These are real people, real events, real consequences. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Now let's begin. Aya Knox was a 23-year-old woman living in Dallas, Texas. At the time of her death, she was employed in the healthcare field and was known among her peers for her consistency, visibility, and structured daily routines. Her full legal name was Aya Knox, and she had spent most of her life in or around the Dallas area. She was raised within a close family structure that emphasized independence, responsibility, and long-term planning. Those who knew her describe her upbringing as stable, with strong family involvement throughout her childhood and early adult years. Her early environment included extended family support, consistent schooling, and encouragement toward professional work rather than short-term employment. During childhood, Aya showed interest in helping roles and structured environments. These early influences later aligned with a decision to pursue work in healthcare. Her family has stated that she was focused on building a stable future and viewed her current job as part of a longer professional path rather than a final destination. Aya completed her primary and secondary education in Texas. While detailed academic records have not been publicly released, it is known that she demonstrated interest in medical and caregiving fields early on. Her academic focus leaned toward practical application rather than purely theoretical studies. She was reportedly exploring additional certifications and advancement opportunities connected to healthcare. Her entry into healthcare work occurred in early adulthood. She worked in a patient care role that required reliability, structured hours, and direct interaction with others. Co-workers describe her as consistent and attentive to responsibilities. Her professional goals included long-term growth within the healthcare field, with nursing frequently mentioned by those familiar with her plans. Among friends and peers, Aya had a strong reputation for confidence and social presence. She was known for maintaining a visible lifestyle, balancing work with an active social life. This visibility contributed to the nickname the Queen of Dallas, a title that did not originate from professional status, but from her recognizable presence in social settings and online platforms. The nickname reflected how often she was seen, recognized, and referenced within her circle rather than a formal role. Her social media presence played a role in reinforcing that reputation. Aya regularly shared images and videos of herself, often centered around nightlife, fashion, and daily routines. Her following grew steadily, and her content suggested comfort with being seen and documented. She did not present herself as private or withdrawn. Instead, her online visibility matched her real-world social activity. The friends present with her on the night of the incident were individuals she regularly spent time with. These relationships were not new or casual. They were part of an established social group accustomed to late-night outings together. According to available accounts, there were no reported conflicts within the group that night. Her family expectations for her future were centered on career stability, financial independence, and eventual advancement within healthcare. She was not described as someone disengaged from long-term planning. Those closest to her viewed her as structured, forward-looking, and intentional about her next steps. Aya's social circle consisted primarily of peers within her age range who shared similar work schedules and nightlife interests. The group included both men and women, and they frequently spent time together during weekends and late evenings. Their interactions were consistent rather than occasional. Regular social routines included dining out, attending clubs or lounges, and spending time in downtown Dallas. These outings were typically planned and followed familiar patterns. The group was accustomed to navigating crowded environments and late-night crowds. Nightlife habits often placed Aya and her friends in central Dallas locations where bars and venues remained active into early morning hours. Downtown Dallas was not an unfamiliar environment for her. She had been there numerous times before without reported issues. Transportation varied depending on circumstances. The group sometimes walked short distances between venues. Rideshare services were commonly used, and designated drivers were occasionally part of plan. There is no indication that the group relied exclusively on one transportation method. Previous late-night outings followed similar timelines, often extending past midnight and into early morning hours. There were no documented safety incidents involving Aya prior to this event. She was familiar with downtown foot traffic patterns and appeared comfortable moving through those areas. No known safety concerns have been reported by Aya or her friends before the incident. There were no public records or statements suggesting that she felt threatened or unsafe earlier that night. Elm Street is a central downtown roadway with multiple lanes, commercial buildings, and mixed pedestrian and vehicle traffic. During daytime hours, it is heavily trafficked by both cars and foot traffic. At night, particularly after 4 a.m., activity decreases but does not disappear entirely. Lighting along Elm Street consists of streetlights spaced at regular intervals, supplemented by ambient light from nearby buildings and storefronts. However, visibility can vary depending on exact location, vehicle headlights, and shadows created by surrounding structures. Traffic patterns after 4 a.m. are lighter, but still present. Vehicles traveling through the area at that time are often moving at consistent speeds due to reduced congestion. Pedestrian traffic is less predictable, as fewer people are present and crossings may occur outside designated crosswalks. Pedestrian visibility challenges include darker clothing, reduced street activity, and driver expectation. Drivers may not anticipate pedestrians in certain areas during early morning hours, particularly outside controlled intersections. Surrounding businesses include offices, restaurants, and entertainment venues, many of which have external surveillance cameras. The extent to which these cameras capture the incident has not been fully disclosed publicly. The area has experienced prior pedestrian incidents, though no specific pattern has been publicly linked to this case. Police patrols in downtown Dallas continue during late hours, though coverage varies based on staffing and call volume. Aya left home late in the evening to meet friends. The exact departure time has not been publicly confirmed. The group spent the evening at downtown venues, following a pattern consistent with prior outings. They moved between locations over several hours. No official documentation has confirmed alcohol or substance use, and no public statements have established impairment among any members of the group. As the night progressed into early morning, the group began transitioning toward leaving the area. By approximately 4:30 a.m., they were near Elm Street. Shortly before the incident, the group separated. The precise reason for this decision has not been publicly explained. Each individual began moving in different directions, likely toward separate vehicles or pickup points. Witness accounts place Aya on or near Elm Street at the time of separation. Some accounts indicate movement along the roadway, though details vary. What prompted the separation at that moment and why the group did not remain together remains unclear. The direction each person went has not been fully documented in public records. These moments occur within a narrow window of time, form the last confirmed sequence before the incident that followed. In the early morning hours, shortly after 4:30 a.m., Aya and Knox and a group of friends were moving through downtown Dallas following a night out. According to accounts later provided to investigators, the group had been together moments earlier and was navigating the area near Elm Street, a corridor known for late-night foot traffic as venues close and rideshare activity increases. At approximately 4:30 a.m., the group began to separate. Statements from companions indicate there was no single, clearly defined plan at the moment of separation. Some individuals were reportedly heading toward vehicles or rideshare pickup points, while others were walking in different directions. The separation appears to have occurred quickly, without prolonged discussion or coordination. Companion statements describe the moment as sudden but not initially alarming. However, the precise reason for the separation has not been consistently explained. Some accounts suggest confusion about transportation arrangements, while others imply urgency related to timing, location, or movement through the area. Investigators have not publicly confirmed whether the group was responding to a specific external factor. There are no official statements confirming that Aya or her friends were being followed, nor have police verified reports of an active threat. However, the rapid nature of the separation has raised questions about whether situational pressure influenced their decisions. Environmental factors such as limited lighting, reduced pedestrian presence, and early morning traffic patterns may have contributed to disorientation. Conflicting accounts remain regarding who last saw Aya before the incident and in what direction she was traveling. Some witnesses state she was crossing or moving along Elm Street independently, while others are unclear on her exact path. These inconsistencies have not been publicly reconciled by investigators. Significant gaps remain in the explanation of the separation. Authorities have not clarified whether surveillance footage captured the group splitting up, nor whether phone location data has been used to reconstruct movements during this period. As a result, the events between the separation and the collision remain partially undocumented. The collision occurred at approximately 4:40 a.m., based on emergency call logs and initial police reports. The incident took place on Elm Street, near a downtown intersection, at a time when vehicular traffic was light, but not absent. Aya Knox was reportedly in the roadway at the time of impact. Investigators have not publicly specified whether she was crossing an intersection, walking along the street, or attempting to reach a sidewalk or vehicle. Her exact position remains a critical, unanswered detail. The SUV involved was traveling along Elm Street in a forward direction consistent with traffic flow. The driver later stated that he did not see Aya prior to impact and was unaware that a collision had occurred at the moment of contact. Speed estimates have not been formally released. Police have not stated whether the vehicle was exceeding the posted speed limit or whether speed contributed to severity of the incident. Visibility conditions at the time included low ambient lighting, pre-dawn darkness, and limited pedestrian visibility. These factors are being evaluated as part of the investigation. Initial contact between the vehicle and Aya resulted in her becoming lodged beneath the SUV. Rather than stopping immediately, the vehicle continued forward for an estimated 100 feet, dragging her along the roadway. Investigators have not publicly confirmed whether the driver applied brakes during this period or when he became aware of an issue. The vehicle ultimately came to a stop further down Elm Street. The final stopping point was not the immediate location of impact, which has raised questions about reaction time, situational awareness, and vehicle feedback during the incident. Immediately following the stop, bystanders began to gather. Some individuals attempted to assess the situation, while others contacted emergency services. No evidence has been released indicating that the driver attempted to flee the scene. Following the collision, Aya Knox remained pinned beneath the SUV. The mechanism by which she became trapped has been attributed to the vehicle's undercarriage and momentum following impact. Emergency records indicate that she remained trapped for approximately 35 minutes before being fully extricated. During this time, she was alive. Witnesses later describe her as conscious at points, though official medical details regarding her condition during entrapment have not been fully disclosed. Bystander reactions varied. Some individuals reportedly attempted to assist by alerting authorities or directing traffic. Others documented the scene using mobile phones. Police have not confirmed whether any bystander intervention affected the rescue timeline. The first emergency call was placed shortly after the vehicle stopped. Dispatch logs confirmed that responders were notified within minutes of the collision. However, the complexity of the entrapment required specialized equipment and coordination. Witnesses described limited immediate access to Aya due to the vehicle's position and weight. The SUV could not be moved manually, and lifting it required the arrival of fire rescue units equipped with airbags and stabilization tools. Delays in extraction were influenced by safety protocols. Emergency responders were required to stabilize the vehicle before lifting it to prevent further injury. Traffic control and scene security were also necessary due to the public location. A crowd remained present throughout the rescue. The incident occurred in a visible area, contributing to the presence of multiple witnesses and recordings. Dallas police officers were the first to arrive on scene, securing the area and assessing the situation. Fire rescue and emergency medical services followed shortly after. Firefighters implemented scene control procedures, including vehicle stabilization and traffic diversion. High-pressure airbags were positioned beneath the SUV to allow for controlled lifting. The lifting process required precision and time. The vehicle was raised incrementally to prevent sudden shifts. Once sufficient clearance was achieved, Aya was carefully removed from beneath the SUV. On-scene medical personnel conducted an initial assessment, focusing on trauma, responsiveness, and vital signs. Given the severity of her injuries, she was classified as critical. Aya Knox was transported by ambulance to a nearby hospital for emergency treatment. Despite medical intervention, she was later pronounced dead. The official time of death was recorded shortly after arrival. Following the transport, investigators remained on scene to document evidence, photograph the area, and begin preliminary interviews. The vehicle was inspected, and the driver remained present and cooperative. The incident was classified as an ongoing investigation. As of now, authorities have not released final conclusions regarding fault, charges, or contributing factors. At the center of the investigation is the driver of the SUV involved in a collision that killed Aya Knox. Authorities have released limited information about the individual. The driver's name, age, and occupation have not been fully disclosed to the public, consistent with standard procedure in ongoing traffic investigations where criminal charges have not yet been filed. Law enforcement has confirmed only that the driver was an adult operating a privately owned SUV at the time of the incident. According to preliminary police accounts, the driver was traveling through downtown Dallas in the early morning hours, shortly before sunrise. Investigators have not publicly specified where the driver was coming from prior to entering Elm Street. No confirmation has been given as to whether the driver had attended nightlife venues, was commuting from work, or was traveling for personal reasons. Similarly, the driver's intended destination has not been released. At the scene, police reported that the driver remained present after the incident and did not attempt to flee. Officers described the driver as cooperative during the initial investigation. Statement provided at the scene indicate that the driver claimed not to have seen Aya Knox prior to collision and stated that they did not feel an impact significant enough to alert them immediately to what had occurred. The driver reportedly said they were unaware a person had become trapped beneath the vehicle until being alerted by bystanders or emergency responders. This claim has drawn scrutiny due to the severity of the incident, including the distance over which Aya was reportedly dragged. However, law enforcement has not publicly confirmed whether the claim has been corroborated or contradicted by physical evidence, vehicle data, or witness statements. At this stage, it remains a statement under review rather than an accepted conclusion. Police have stated that the driver complied with requests for questioning and remained accessible to investigators. There has been no public indication of resistance or refusal to cooperate. Standard sobriety evaluations were reportedly conducted, though specific results have not been released. Authorities have not confirmed whether alcohol or drugs were detected, nor have they stated that impairment was a contributing factor. The SUV involved in the incident was impounded and examined. Investigators conducted a vehicle inspection to assess damage patterns, undercarriage condition, and any mechanical issues that could be relevant. This includes checking braking systems, headlights, sensors, and onboard computer systems where applicable. Results of these inspections have not been fully disclosed. Information regarding the driver's prior driving history has not been released. There has been no public confirmation of previous traffic violations, accidents, or criminal offenses related to driving. In the absence of disclosed records, no conclusions can be drawn regarding the driver's driving background. Law enforcement has classified the incident as a traffic-related investigation rather than a homicide case. This classification affects the investigative process, the agencies involved, and the legal thresholds required for criminal charges. The designation indicates that, at least initially, authorities did not determine there was clear evidence of intentional harm. Evidence collected at the scene included physical measurements, photographs, and documentation of the roadway, vehicle position, and surrounding environment. Investigators recorded skid marks, debris locations, and lighting conditions. The SUV was secured for further forensic analysis. Witness interviews were conducted with individuals present at or near the scene. These include bystanders, members of Aya Knox's group, and potentially nearby residents or workers who may have observed the incident or events immediately before or after. Police have not released a number of witnesses interviewed or summarized their statements publicly. Surveillance footage is a critical component of the investigation. Downtown Dallas contains numerous cameras operated by businesses, traffic monitoring systems, and private properties. Investigators confirmed that they reviewed available footage to reconstruct the sequence of events. However, authorities have not released video content or detailed descriptions of what the footage shows, citing the ongoing nature of the investigation. Vehicle data analysis is another component under review. Modern vehicles often record speed, braking activity, and other operational data. Whether such data was available from the SUV involved has not been publicly confirmed, nor have any findings been disclosed. The medical examiner conducted an autopsy to determine cause and manner of death. While it has been confirmed that Aya Knox died from injuries sustained in the incident, detailed findings have not been released publicly. Toxicology reports for both the victim and the driver, if conducted, have not been made public. Accident reconstruction specialists are typically involved in incidents of this nature. Their role is to analyze physical evidence, vehicle data, and environmental factors to determine how the collision occurred. Police have not stated whether a final reconstruction report has been completed or when it may be released. Police updates have been limited. Initial statements confirmed the incident. the driver's cooperation, and the absence of immediate charges. Subsequent updates have been sparse, contributing to public uncertainty. Authorities have not provided a timeline for when the investigation will conclude. Several categories of information remain undisclosed, including full witness statements, detailed forensic findings, and the rationale behind investigative decisions. Law enforcement has not explained which details may be released later and which may remain confidential. Footage related to the incident began circulating on social media shortly after it occurred. Videos showing portions of the aftermath were shared across platforms, including TikTok, Instagram, and X. Some clips were recorded by bystanders, while others appear to have been reposted multiple times without context. The volume of engagement was significant. Videos related to the incident collectively accumulated tens of millions of views within days. Comments, reposts, and stitched content expanded the reach rapidly, turning the case into a widely discussed public event. Public interpretations varied widely. Some users attempted to reconstruct the incident based on incomplete footage, while others drew conclusions about intent, negligence, or culpability without access to full evidence. These interpretations often conflicted with confirmed facts released by authorities. Misinformation became a documented challenge. Claims about timelines, driver behavior, and police actions circulated without verification. In some cases, outdated or unrelated footage was misrepresented as evidence from the incident. Law enforcement has not addressed specific rumors publicly. The viral exposure affected the family and the investigation. While public attention increased awareness, it also complicated the investigative process by introducing unverified narratives. Authorities have not stated whether online content has interfered with witness cooperation or legal proceedings. A central issue in the case is the distinction between criminal and non-criminal negligence. Criminal negligence typically requires proof that a driver's actions showed a gross deviation from reasonable care, while non-criminal negligence may involve errors without criminal intent. Vehicular manslaughter standards require prosecutors to demonstrate that a driver's conduct directly caused a death and met specific legal thresholds, such as recklessness or impairment. Meeting this burden requires substantial evidence. In pedestrian fatality cases, the burden of proof rests with the prosecution. Investigators must establish speed, visibility, reaction time, and compliance with traffic laws. Conflicting evidence or lack of clear indicators can delay or prevent charges. No immediate charges were filed, which suggests that investigators did not initially identify sufficient evidence to support arrest under applicable statutes. This does not preclude future charges if additional evidence emerges. Potential future charges depend on final investigative findings, including forensic reports and expert analysis. Authorities have not ruled out further legal action. Civil liability is separate from criminal proceedings. A wrongful death lawsuit may be pursued regardless of criminal charges, requiring a lower burden of proof. Whether such action will occur has not been publicly confirmed. Several critical questions remain unresolved in the death of Knox, despite public attention and an active investigation. These gaps have shaped public concern and continue to define the case. According to available accounts, Knox was not alone that night. She had been in downtown Dallas with a group of friends in the early morning hours. At approximately 4:30 a.m., the group separated. No official explanation has been released explaining why this decision was made at that specific time or location. Investigators have not clarified whether the split was planned, spontaneous, or prompted by an external factor such as transportation logistics, perceived safety concerns, or a disagreement. Statements from companions have not been fully detailed publicly, leaving uncertainty around the circumstances leading up to the separation. Another unresolved issue is what caused Aya to enter the roadway. It has not been established whether she was crossing an intersection, walking alongside traffic, attempting to reach a vehicle, or reacting to something unexpected. Authorities have not clarified whether traffic signals, crosswalks, or pedestrian right-of-way were factors. Without a precise reconstruction of her movements in the seconds before impact, the reason she was in the path of the SUV remains unclear. The driver stated that he did not see Aya, did not feel an impact, and was unaware that she was beneath the vehicle until after stopping. Investigators have not publicly confirmed whether physical evidence supports or contradicts this claim. Key factors, such as vehicle height Lighting conditions, speed, road visibility, and damage to the SUV have not been fully disclosed. Without the release of accident reconstruction findings, it is not possible to determine whether the driver's account aligns with forensic evidence. Emergency responders reportedly took significant time to extricate Aya from beneath the vehicle. Questions remain about the delay between impact and rescue. It is unclear whether the length of time was due to the complexity of the situation, the position of the vehicle, the need for specialized equipment, or delays in emergency notification. Authorities have not released a minute-by-minute breakdown of response times. Downtown Dallas contains numerous businesses, traffic cameras, and private surveillance systems. Police have acknowledged reviewing video footage, but they have not specified how much footage exists, what angles were captured, or whether key moments are visible. The absence of released footage has left unanswered whether the incident itself, the moments before impact, or the driver's actions afterward are clearly documented on video. Despite widespread attention, official updates have been minimal. Authorities have not provided detailed explanations for the limited flow of information. This has led to speculation about whether the investigation is awaiting forensic results, legal review, or prosecutorial decisions. The lack of transparency has contributed to uncertainty about the direction and progress of the case. Numerous bystanders were reportedly present during and after the incident. It remains unknown how many witnesses have been formally interviewed, whether additional witnesses have come forward since the incident, or whether some individuals left before law enforcement arrived. The completeness of witness identification remains an open question. Aya Knox's family acknowledged her death publicly shortly after the incident. Their statements focus on confirming her identity and expressing concern over the circumstances of her death. Family members have consistently requested clarity and accountability, emphasizing the need for a thorough investigation. Friends and community members issued statements describing Aya's role in their lives and her presence within the Dallas community. While these statements vary in tone, they consistently call for answers regarding the events of that morning. Memorial gatherings were held at locations connected to Aya's life and near the site of the incident. These events served as public acknowledgments of her death and platforms for renewed calls for transparency. No official announcements were made at these gatherings regarding investigative findings. Social media platforms became central spaces for remembrance. Posts included photos, messages, and shared videos related to the incident. While some content aimed to honor Aya, other posts raised questions about the investigation and criticized the lack of official communication. Community voices have repeatedly asked whether existing laws and investigative procedures are sufficient to address incidents involving pedestrians and vehicles. These calls have not been directed solely at the driver, but also at broader systems responsible for public safety. Families, advocates, and members of the public have requested the release of more detailed information, including timelines, surveillance findings, and investigative conclusions. To date, those requests remain largely unanswered. The incident has renewed attention on pedestrian safety in areas with active nightlife during early morning hours. Reduced traffic enforcement, fatigue among drivers, and impaired visibility are recognized challenges in such environments. Questions have been raised about police presence and traffic monitoring between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., a period when many serious incidents occur, but enforcement resources may be limited. The role of street lighting, signage, and road design has been examined. It remains unclear whether environmental factors contributed to reduced visibility for either the driver or the pedestrian. The length of time required to respond and extricate Aya has led to discussions about emergency preparedness for complex roadside incidents. No official assessment of response efficiency has been released. The rapid spread of videos related to the incident demonstrates how social media now shapes public understanding of events before investigations conclude. This has influenced public reception while complicating efforts to control misinformation. The case remains under investigation. It has not been publicly classified as criminal or non-criminal, and no charges have been announced. Several reports may still be pending, including accident reconstruction, toxicology results, and full surveillance analysis. Authorities have issued limited statements confirming cooperation from the driver and ongoing investigative efforts. No timeline for resolution has been provided. There is continued expectation that investigators will release findings clarifying responsibility, causation, and whether legal action will follow. The confirmed facts established that Aya Knox was struck and pinned beneath an SUV in downtown Dallas in the early morning hours and later died from her injuries. Beyond that, critical details remain unresolved. The circumstances leading to her presence in the street, the driver's awareness, the length of the incident, and the limited public disclosure continue to define the case. What remains is a clear distinction between what is known and what has not yet been explained. Until those gaps are addressed, the case stands as an example of the importance of accountability, transparency, and clarity in incidents that unfold in full public view. If you found this story as gripping and heartbreaking as we did, don't forget to like this video and share it with others. And if you want to hear more true crime stories that uncover the mysteries behind these tragic events, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. You won't want to miss our latest stories, updates, and discussions. Thank you for joining us on this journey to seek justice and explore the truth. Together, we can make a difference. Until next time, stay safe and stay aware.